Hey crafty people! Welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Oh, welcome to my channel. So what you're going to see in this video is me inking most of the papers that we applied the various texture pastes to in my last video. So we're going to get started now. Okay, I've got my splat box up. I've got a piece of Michael's Creatology watercolor paper geared towards kids. It's cheap, but it's a good to have it underneath to catch any excess sprays. Got a little rack to lift it up so that air can circulate better, especially when I hit it with my heat tool. And I've got the first piece is the absorbent ground. And I think because this video is so long, I'm going to mostly speed up this process, and I'll just announce at the beginning what piece I'm working on and what sprays I am using. So I've grabbed Distress Oxide in Salvaged Patina, Cracked Pistachio, and Peacock Feathers, and I've grabbed Salvaged Patina and Peacock Feathers Distress Spray Stain. The oxides need to be shaken. The sprays do not. I am going to start it off wet, and so we're just going to see what ends up happening when we add spray stains to this, because I have no idea. I've never tried this before. Oh, and I may put a voiceover telling you the Sunday snake drama I had today. I'm grabbing a little Hickory Smoke to add a little dark in. And oh, we're pulled in way too close. So I promised you the tale of our adventures with the snake this Sunday. I was getting ready to sit down and craft, and I hear my dog barking and notice he's like chasing something in the house. And so I figured, okay, perhaps he's chased a lizard in, because like my craft room has a door leading out to my screened-in porch, which then leads out into my yard. So we get lizards all the time. Thought it was just a lizard, went over to see what he was doing, saw a snake. So I shut my other dog, who's still out on the porch looking for the snake still, outside, dragged the one that's in the house into another part of the house and shut him there. Then I go and get the dog that's outside and go put a leash on him and take him all the way around the house to put him in the front part of the house so that he doesn't go after the snake again. Then I move a bunch of stuff that's laying out around in my house because I'm still redoing my craft closet out of the way to try and find the snake, who is curled up against the outlet strip I have underneath my sewing desk. And I called my dad figuring I was going to need help coaxing the snake both out of the house and then through the whole length of my screen and porch, because there's doors at either end, one leading into my yard, one leading to like the side of my house, which is outside my fenced yard. So while I was waiting for him to arrive, I decided to try and get the snake moving initially, and so I go over with a broom to try and get him to move, and the little guy decides, and it's a black racer, perfectly harmless snake, no worries about it, but it decides to pretend it's a rattlesnake and shake its tail at me and attack the broom. Alright, I've cleaned up. These are the translucent paste and the heavy gloss gel, and I've grabbed Kitsch Flamingo and Shabby Shutters. Thankfully, my dad gets there, and between the two of us, we managed to like coax him with a mop and a broom to go in the right direction to get out to the side of my house and go off and live his merry life. So that was our fun and excitement. It kind of threw off my whole day. I've grabbed Vintage Photo, Pumice Stone, and old paper. For this one, I have grabbed Distress Mica Stains in Fresh Balsam, Merry Mint, Wonderland, and Shiny Baubles. And these have to be shaken up because all the mica settles to the bottom. And they are a seasonal release. Okay, I have grabbed Uncharted Mariner, Villainous Potion, and Salvaged Patina in Distress Spray Stain because I kind of want to go dark on this. Alright, so for this one I've grabbed Distress Mica Stains in Frozen Fog,
Yuletide, and Tree Lot. You want to make sure your red's dry before you add any green, because red and green make brown. And next up, I've got the texture paste opaque, and I've pulled out Salvaged Patina, Oxide and Spray Stain, Shabby Shutters Spray Stain, Peacock Feathers Spray Stain, Cracked Pistachio Oxide, and Peacock Feathers Oxide. Alright, so I've pulled out another tag. This has got the grit paste opaque, and I've grabbed Distress Spray Stain, Pumice Stone, and Old Paper, and Oxides in Fired Brick and Hickory Smoke. Now, I kind of want to give the look of like mossiness around the bricks, so I'm just going to come in with some peeled paint Oxide and be very judicious in its application. Peeled paint is way brighter than I wanted. Try a little Shabby Shutters. And I am gonna just do a little more Pumice Stone. Okay, for this one, I am gonna use some Old Paper, Pumice Stone, Salvaged Patina, and Uncharted Mariner, and all just distressed spray stains, because those should not show up on the black paste, so the black paste will pop through. Let's do the same color combo on this tag that has just some grit paste smeared on it. and I'm pulling in Distress Oxide and Pumice Stone and Uncharted Mariner, along with the Pumice Stone, Uncharted Mariner, Salvaged Patina, Old Paper, Distress Spray Stain, and I may toss in a little Shabby Shutters, Distress Spray Stain, and Salvaged Patina Oxide. We're going with all the colors. Okay, so I want to do one more thing before we recap what we did, and that's to add some distress crayons to these guys to try and bring out, on these two, the cracks, on this one, the impression we stamped into the paste. So let me grab crayons. All right, I think, let's start with this guy. I'm gonna start with some Vintage Photo. I'm just gonna go over some of the areas where I have cracking. Take the distress brush and push it into the crevices to bring out our cracks. It's also bringing out the pattern of the stenciling because it's catching around it as well. Now the crayons, like with most distress products, are water reactive, so if I thought there was too much in one of the spots, I could come in with like a paper towel that's got a little bit of dampness on it and wipe some off. But I think that's pretty good, and I can definitely see the cracks better. Alright, so we got that one. This one, I think I may try a little Salvaged Patina and Walnut Stain. Ooh, I like that, but I definitely don't want it sitting on the surface. So I'm gonna come, this time I'm just doing a dry cloth. That worked pretty good. Let's see, I did some stamping over here. And on this one, these guys got a little bit more textury, so we'll see how well they work. That one I think was a little too wet, so it ended up pulling it out of the cracks. Just gently, not trying to push too hard, trying to remove the crayon from on top without removing it from inside the little bits. Let's put a little walnut stain on there. I think this would work better if I had a smaller brush. The 5 is just so very shallow that it's not catching a lot in there. Let's go one more time with the blue on top. I'm gonna try using my finger, see if it works a little bit better, where I can really push it in. And this one's got so much texture going on. All right, that's kind of cool looking. And then we've got this one, which thinking, given the colors I used, probably gonna be, you know what, actually, I think I'm gonna grab Hickory Smoke and go gray. Kind of toying with the idea of bringing in some of the Salvaged Patina. See what happens if I do that. All right, I think that's good. Oh, welcome to my channel. So what you're gonna see in this video is me inking most of the papers that we applied the various texture pastes to in my last video. So we're gonna get started now. All right, so here's everybody dry and finished. So we've got the two clear pastes that we did, which is the translucent texture paste by Tim Holtz and the heavy gloss gel by Golden, and I did show you this in the previous video. I thought they were going to react the same in that they'll resist the ink, and they did, but the Golden one, the ink kind of got sucked up underneath the stenciling, and I am not thrilled with how this came out, so there'll be some playing around with this to improve it at some point. I have a comparison of the opaque texture paste options that I applied. So this is the Tim Holtz Distressed Opaque Paste. Oh, there's another one that goes in here. Yeah, this guy. These two are the Liquitex Ultra Matte Medium, and these three are the Absorbent Ground, which I expected the Absorbent Ground to absorb more of the ink than it actually did. Whereas the Tim Holtz and the Ultra Matte Gel absorbed more ink than I think the Absorbent Ground did. And I did talk about this in the last video. But the basic differences are most texture, mid-texture, very little actual texture, almost flat. So depending on how much raised stenciling you want for your piece, if you want it to be very textured, I'd go with the Tim Holtz Opaque Paste. If you want a little bit of texture but not a ton, the Ultra Matte Gel is the way to go. Just be careful, because if you apply too much wateriness to it, the paste starts to lift up. And if you want something almost completely smooth and flat, Absorbent Ground is your best bet. Stick those here. And we've got these guys. Now, this is the one I inked through the stencil using Distress Oxide in Squeezed Lemonade, then put the texture paste over it, and then inked it. So that's a good way if you want to have lighter ink where your stenciling is. If you do translucent texture paste over top, you can preserve your light inking of the stenciled area. This is the guy we applied the translucent texture paste to and then stamped into the texture paste before it dried, and I went in with crayon to bring out the stamped bits. Here are our crackle. This is the Opaque Crackle Paste by Tim Holtz, and I like how that came out. And this one, you could see the cracks really well when I inked it up because the paste is white, so it stands out more. These two were translucent. This was the translucent paste, and this was the translucent paint, and I think I like the paint a bit better. I don't think this worked out as well, but it also could be because I did it on the Artist Loft mixed media paper, which is not good for mixed media because, as you may be able to tell, like with this guy, the ink wicked up underneath the paste. So instead of it being all white, as you can see in some spots, you've got some of the ink there. And I just don't think it cracked as well as the opaque paste or the crackle paint, which now that I added the Distress crayon to it, you can see the cracks better. This one's definitely a finer crack than you got with the translucent paste. We did the opaque black, and so that one came out pretty cool. This is the grit paste, and I've got my little brick guy that I'm probably going to play around with this some more to get the mossiness a better color. And then this is the one where I just smeared some grit paste on the tag and then tossed some inks on. And then we've got some sparkly ones. This one I did the translucent paste on black and picked the wrong stencil because it was pretty much all over coverage, so you don't get quite as much ink. And this one I did the opaque black paste and spritzed it with mica spray stains, and it's giving me more Italian flag vibe than Christmas, which was what I was going for. Like, I was going for Christmas sweater feel, and yeah, it's feeling a little more Italian flag. So there'll be some playing around with that. And I think that's everything. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.